WikiLeaks walks like a hostile intelligence service and talks like a hostile intelligence service. It has encouraged its followers to find jobs at the CIA in order to obtain intelligence. It directed Chelsea Manning in her theft of specific secret information. It overwhelmingly focuses on the United States while seeking support from anti-democratic countries and organizations. It's time to call out WikiLeaks for what it really is: a non-state hostile intelligence service often abetted by state actors like Russia.
Julian Assange later responded to Pompeo's allegation in an interview with journalist Jeremy Scahill on the podcast Intercepted.
Pompeo has stated that WikiLeaks instructed Chelsea Manning to go after certain information. That's an interesting revelation. And then there is his statement that this, i.e. WikiLeaks and its publications, end now. So how does he propose to conduct this ending? He didn't say, but the CIA is only in the business of collecting information, kidnapping people, and assassinating people. So it's quite a menacing statement that he does need to clarify.
And again, Richard Roth, Yahoo News last year revealed that the CIA did consider abducting and possibly assassinating Julian Assange while he was in political asylum in the embassy. Your comments on this, and of course, Pompeo could be a presidential candidate in the next presidential election.
Yeah, Julian Assange and WikiLeaks is a publication. It gets information from sources and publishes it. No different than the New York Times, no different than any newscaster. It does nothing more. There is an indictment alleging more. Certainly the government will have to prove it. But the bottom line is, and thus far, all we've seen is publication. It's no different than the Pentagon Papers the New York Times actually published. So there is a very clear purpose for the news, and that is if information comes in its possession, and it doesn't matter which news source, whether it's Fox or whether it's CNN, then it has not only is it right, but it has an obligation to tell the world that this is what I have. There's no evidence, and we'll certainly see if he's extradited at this trial, that WikiLeaks was actually involved in the hacking of any computers by the NSA. Chelsea Manning is a different story, but if Chelsea Manning gives information to the New York Times, you can bet your bottom dollar the New York Times is going to publish that, because that is its obligation, right. And that's all WikiLeaks is. Why Mike Pompeo went ahead and went so far, so extreme, to essentially label WikiLeaks as a hostile, non-state intelligence service is just remarkable. And then what he did was they went ahead and using a UC Global, they actually went in, and they are the ones that wrongfully took information. There's a real irony here. While WikiLeaks is being charged of wrongfully taking information, it's the CIA that wrongfully took information, not only of Assange, but of U.S. citizens. Ms. Urbeck, Margaret Kunstler, and other plaintiffs. So there's a real irony here that what they're being accused of is what the CIA was doing, which is very, very troubling.
Journalist. I wanted to go back to 2014. In a Democracy Now! Exclusive, we went inside Ecuador's embassy in London to interview WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange as he had just entered his third year of political asylum. We're in the Ecuadorian embassy in London, where Julian Assange took refuge 2 years ago. He's been detained in Britain for close now to 4 years. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Julian. How are you doing here? It's been over 2 years that you have really not seen daylight for any extended period of time.
It's been nearly 4 years that I've been detained without charge, in one form or another here in the United Kingdom, first in prison for solitary confinement, then under house arrest for about 18 months, and now 2 years here in the embassy. The Ecuadorian government gave me political asylum in relation to the ongoing national security investigation by the DOJ, the Department of Justice in the United States, into
Mary Garland's sick
publications and
ass.
also into
We need to get
forcing
rid of
evidence. So
him.
did I enter into a conspiracy with Chelsea Manning, who was sentenced last year to 35 years in prison? So the question is how I'm doing. Of course, personally, it's a difficult situation in a variety of ways. I would say that when someone's in this position, what you are most concerned about is the interruption in your family relationships.
That's right.
So because of the security situation, that's made it very hard for my children and my parents.
So that's Julian Assange when we interviewed him. And people can go to democracynow.org to see all the interviews we did with Julian Assange in London. But the significance of now him being held for, that was 2014, but held for 4 years. So we're talking 12 years now in the maximum security Belmarsh prison, where Britain is preparing to extradite him to face espionage charges in the United States. What role do you see your lawsuit playing in the possibility of stopping this extradition?
So it's a great question, and let's just talk for a second about the fact that he's in a maximum security prison for a publisher. It's that in and of itself is an outrage. But the rule is the following: if in fact we can prove that the CIA was listening to and taking information, and that includes Julian Assange's lawyers, criminal lawyers, in the actual extradition proceeding, and in the proceeding which presumably will be tried in the Northern District of Virginia, when in fact if in fact he is extradited, and if in fact he is tried. So think about it: the CIA, years before he's even tried in Virginia, has tape recordings of the conversations Julian Assange had with his lawyers. We think that information is so outrageous that if in fact we prove our case, when we go to the Virginia court, there could be a federal court judge in Virginia that looks at the CIA's conduct and says, I can't. There's not a chance I will let you try this case in light of the fact that you're the ones that spied on him. You have all his information. And the goal with that lawsuit, independent of this one, is to have that lawsuit thrown out to let the publisher publish. That's all I'm asking, is let the publisher publish. I'm not the lawyer in that case. I know the lawyer in that case. He's a very highly qualified Washington, D.C. criminal lawyer.